I'm Jim Desmond, your supervisor for San Diego County District 5. And yes, your government is open here still at 7 o'clock at night. So we've heard from Valley Center residents before, and we've had Revite meetings, and people said, hey, let's do a night meeting. So here we are. Some of you, may not know me, or so I'll give you a little bit of my background. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran. I graduated from San Diego State as a engineer many years ago. I got married to my wife, beautiful wife, Carrie. I met her while I was out here in the Navy. We've been married for 37 years. We got 2 adult children who also live in North County. My daughter's actually a teacher at Lilac Elementary School. I was a mayor of San Marcos for 12 years while I was still flying for Delta Airlines. And last year in September, I retired from Delta Airlines due to COVID and other things. It was a great job. And so I retired after 33 years with Delta. So just kind of let you know that I'm not just a career politician. I came from the private sector and then just started volunteering and ended up here at the supervisor's job. So it's actually an honor to be part of representing you in North County and hopefully making Valley Center together better. Just briefly about the county, I want to talk about, county this year. We got a $6.4 billion budget. Population of San Diego County is about 3.3, almost 3.4 million people now. The county does many things, sure you're aware of, Charge of Health and Human Services. And obviously there's a lot of news about COVID during the Health and Human Services. County is also in charge of lots of other things: agriculture, environmental health, beach water testing. When you see the grade in a restaurant, that's the county's hand in that. Courts and jails and all sorts of things that the county does. And as you know, the county, basically I'm your local representative representing you at the county, an unincorporated area. The district, my district goes actually, it's Rancho Santa Fe, Carlsbad, Oceanside, Vista, San Marcos, Valley Center, Fallbrook, Rainbow, Warner Springs, Palma Valley, Borrego, Ranchita. It's about 600,000 people that we represent. And so, as you know, we take care of your roads, your infrastructure, law enforcement. One thing that we're getting a lot of questions on during COVID here is about schools and schools openings and things like that. School boards are not our thing. The school districts are particularly not the county. They have their own separate elected bodies, but I'd be happy to answer questions about COVID and schools. But they have their own jurisdictions, as many of you know. So that's a little bit of summary. We'll move into COVID. So many of you know that the stay-at-home order went in place. It was removed actually about a week and a half ago, which allows some businesses to open up. So we're back in the purple tier. Outdoor dining can resume, personal care services, hair salons, I need a haircut, and barbershops and other things. As you can see on the screen, those are the purple tier that we're in. The red tier, in order for us to get to the next tier, the red tier, our case rate has to be 7 positive cases per 100,000 people. So that means, and right now we're at about 45 to 50 positive cases per 100,000 people right now. So it's going to take us a little bit to get back to below 7, which would be the red tier, which allows for more openings. So as you can see on the list, most things, there's different things on there. What else? Some sports are open, youth sports. Some are open, like individual sports like cross country, swimming, and tennis, non-contact sports. So you can kind of see on this list what it's going to take to get into each one of these things. And I think to get to the orange tier, it's got to be less than 4, I think, per 100,000. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We're still in the purple. Vaccines. I know vaccines are in everybody's mind right now. My office, we're getting hundreds of emails and calls a day for people trying to make an appointment. But we actually got some good news, very good news for Valley Center. So the first time you're going to be hearing this tonight, that we are going to have vaccinations coming to Valley Center this coming Tuesday and Wednesday. And to give it, the CAL FIRE and different fire departments have been helping to administer this. And we have with us tonight from CAL FIRE, we have Captain Thomas Schutz. He's going to join us. And thanks for being here, Thomas. If you could tell us a little bit what's going to be happening, what's going on for Valley Center and vaccinations on Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely. So we know there's a lot of vaccination events going around in the county. Our commitment to this is came about. We've been doing, as you guys know, we've been doing testing in the rural communities for months. That rolled into flu vaccinations, and we built up that relationship with County Health and Human Services. So at the end of December, we started doing vaccinations for EMTs and paramedics, the folks who are out running the medical aids, trying to get that core group vaccinated. It was a lot of firefighters, the folks out running the medical aids, and then our EMS personnel, so from Mercy and AMR. So we were able to get through that chunk, and we did a pretty good job at getting through those people very quickly. So we continued to take on more events from HHSA. We moved into the long-term care facilities, which was super beneficial. We were able to get into these, these living facilities that are difficult for, these people can't make it out to the super site. They can't just load up and go to Petco. So it wasn't just CAL FIRE, San Diego County Fire, but we teamed up with 20 different fire agencies from all over the county, and we were all working together to vaccinate. Continues to go on today. We just broke 8,000 vaccinations countywide since December 30th. We added another 700 and something vaccinations just today. So we continue to ramp up and expand that out. As of this week, we expanded out to the rural communities. So the last couple of days we were out in Julian. We were out in Hamul today. We'll be out in Hamul again tomorrow. And we're really trying to meet the need for folks out in the areas that we serve. We have 40 stations throughout the county, and the areas we cover are the backcountry, and they're the folks who Petco isn't anywhere close to where they're at. So our very first event was actually in Borrego Springs, very popular. We were able to get hundreds of folks out there who it would be hours for them to trek into the city to get vaccinated. So we're very honored to be providing this service, and Valley Center is obviously a big target for us. We have stations there. We've served there for many decades, and we're going to be in Valley Center this upcoming Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, there are some caveats to that. As a supervisor suggested or mentioned earlier, it's difficult. We're not getting as many vaccines as we would like just countywide. So we're doing the best we can. We don't have the numbers yet from County Health and Human Services on how many vaccines we're going to be able to provide in Valley Center. But these events are happening regardless of the number of vaccines that we get. So we're optimistic that we're going to get what we asked for. These links will open up. They're not open up quite yet, but when they do, they're going to be first come, first serve. But this Tuesday, February 9th and Wednesday, February 10th, will be at Valley Center Elementary School over on Colgrade Road. And we're really hoping to see you guys out there. We know these have been very popular events, and we're going to work really hard to get that information to you. There's certainly there's no favoritism here. We want our rural community members to be able to get it and get these vaccines, but just know that on the first wave, we're not going to be able to reach everybody in Valley Center. We wish we could. We wish we could just stay there all week and handle it, but what we're doing is slowly chipping away. I know some folks in Valley Center have already gone to other sites. Our Julian site, I was out in Julian yesterday, and I forget the exact number, but there was quite, they did the statistics because I could see everybody's address when they signed up. There was a lot of people who were not from Julian coming around. And a lot of times they're from surrounding rural communities trying to make their way out. And sometimes the people are just frustrated. They've run into struggles with the super sites, and so they make their way out. But we really hope that you get on there and utilize a link. So how do you find out about when the links open up? So we're going to post it on our CAL FIRE, San Diego County Fire information pages. So hopefully a lot of you folks follow it already for our fire stuff. But we also put out a lot of good information year round. So our Twitter, CAL FIRE San Diego, or if you just search CAL FIRE San Diego, our Twitter will pop up. Facebook, same thing, Cal Fire San Diego. We're going to make sure we push that out right away. HHSA ultimately has control of when these links go live. So we have to wait for County Health and Human Services to post these links, and we will turn around and push these out. They don't have a notification system, so you can continue to check back. And I know that's very. We hate the idea that we don't like to waste anybody's time. I know that's super time consuming, and we don't want people to have to keep going to this website every 10 minutes trying to refresh like they're getting concert tickets. But ultimately, the moment that we find out from HHSA that these are posted, we're going to turn around and push it out on our social media sites, and we hope that they will be very popular and that you guys all jump on it. And please know that if you don't get an appointment at Valley Center this time, we are continuing to make the rounds. We're going to be at these rural sites every day of the week, just pushing out and trying to reach as many people as possible. Please know that we're in this for the long haul. We're going to stick it out. We have over 100 firefighters assigned to Operation Collaboration, and we really hope to see you out there. And if you guys have any questions, definitely reach out to us on our social media sites, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can with the answers.
Well, Thomas, thank you very much, and we appreciate it. But so the location, is that, have you got that nailed down as far as where in Valley Center, where is it at?
Yes, sir. So from what I'm told, the location is nailed down, even though we're still working on the vaccination numbers. But Valley Center Elementary School, so 28751 Colgrade Road, and that'll be for Tuesday, February 9th and Wednesday, February 10th.
Okay, and I'm seeing some of the questions here in the chat. Everybody wants to know, okay, when can they make an appointment? What's the website they got to go to make it? And here's what I'm going to tell everybody online here. If you're online and you're here tonight, we have your email address, because apparently you had to sign up for this thing. We will blast it out to you as soon as we know. And right now we don't. And unfortunately, I know in Borrego, we had I think the website went live. Borrego was on Saturday, and I think it was, the night before or the day before that the appointments opened up. The problem is we don't really know how many vaccines we're going to have each day, so we don't want to get too many people. We want to be able to honor all the appointments or the reservations, and so we will blast that out as soon as we can. Unfortunately, it's usually the day before, and I'm not sure what the web. There's a few different platforms out there. There's My Turn. There's San Diego Superstation. There's some other ones I know that Borrego was using a completely different one. So we will get that to you as soon as possible. As soon as we know. When you can start making those reservations. We will blast that out to you. I see that people are asking about a second shot. What happens, or what's happening before in Borrego is when you get your first shot, before you leave, they set you up an appointment for the second shot. So you'll be set up for that once you get it, and so you will know for sure, and hopefully you blast that, whatever we send to you, you send out to your neighbors and everybody else for getting that information out. So I want to say thank you, it's Captain, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
I want to promote you. Okay, Captain.
It's quite all right.
And just if you could, I don't know if you could stick around for a little bit, as long as you can. We'll, I'm sure, and we will get to more questions later on about the vaccine and the if you have any other questions, but there's a lot we don't know. We do know it's going to be Tuesday and Wednesday. We do know it's going to be at the elementary school. It's just the website and making the appointments is still yet to be determined, and we'll get that to you. So as many of you know, North County, we have there's a super station. See, am I getting ahead of the slides here? At Cal State San Marcos, and the super station means they're going to hopefully get up to about 5,000 shots a day. Right now, it's healthcare workers, and those 65 and over can get the vaccine. And we've also got there's a point of distribution, a vaccination station at the Live Well Center in Oceanside. I think there's still one in Escondido. I know they were going to roll the one of Escondido into San Marcos, but I'm not sure if that one's shut down or not yet. But those points of distribution, or pods, we call them, they can give up to like 500 vaccines a day. So the super station's up to 5,000 a day. So it is, you heard from the captain there, our problem is we don't have enough vaccines. They're not coming as quickly as the demand. There's 2 vaccine companies in the country, and and everybody wants their vaccine. So we have not been getting the full requests that we have. We have not been able to meet the demand. We have built up several places to get the vaccine. So in case we do get it, we have the infrastructure in place to get it out as quickly as possible. But the issue is the vaccines just haven't been coming through. The feds give it, allocate it to the states. The state allocates it to the counties. And so we've been fortunate that we're getting what we're getting right now, which is, unfortunately, it's not enough. But we'll continue to wait some more. But hopefully, like I said, we've got the infrastructure in place to get it out as quickly as possible. Also, what we want to encourage people to do is, if you're in Kaiser or Scripps or Sharps hospital systems, to contact your doctor first about getting the shot, because Scripps and those entities, Kaiser, Scripps, and Sharp, have their own shots and vaccines available. And so they get it from the same sources as everybody else is getting it. And I've even heard certain grocery stores, Albertsons and Vons and that have in-store pharmacies. Because they're not just located in one county, they're located, in many counties, many states. They also have their own shipments of the vaccine. Now, right now, everybody's still giving it out just to the first responders, just to 1A and up to age 65. So check with your doctor. Maybe your doctor can get you a quicker shot than we can at the county. The retail pharmacies are out there in making that available. So it's good news that everybody wants the vaccine, because hopefully we can get back to some sort of normality. And the goal is to get 70% of the people in San Diego County age 16 or older vaccinated by July 1st. That's what we're shooting for, but it's only possible if we get enough vaccines in here. But don't worry, everybody who wants a shot's going to get one. It's going to take us time to get to that point. Obviously, the last year has been tough for businesses and nonprofits. We've been able to help some businesses in Valley Center with some of the stimulus grants. Actually, to Valley Center businesses, we gave out over $202,000 in stimulus grants to at least 26 businesses in Valley Center. The neighborhood reinvestment dollars that I get to give every year, $88,000 went to Valley Center. Community enhancement is another pot of money that I get to hand out or dole out every year. We got $87,000 actually went to Valley Center. So we're trying to get the grants in there to hopefully keep some businesses afloat. As you know, most hosts hopefully know that I've been advocating and pushing to get more businesses open or be allowed to open safely, and been a big push for me in that effort. Behavioral health is still an issue. Homelessness is still an issue. And across the 78 freeway, we have a lot of homeless issues there as well. Behavioral health, we've actually done some good work in North County on the behavioral health front. When I first came into office, Tri-City Hospital had shut down their hospital, psychiatric hospital beds and their crisis stabilization unit on site, primarily for building and code issues. And so they shut down. I was able to get, I think, $17 million to open up those behavioral health beds. We're also opening up crisis stabilization units in Oceanside, Vista, and I think there's one one at Escondido at the hospital. And basically, a crisis stabilization unit is a place where sheriffs can take people that maybe having an episode, or they're they can't control them, but they're not really bleeding or anything like that, or worthy of going to an emergency room. At a crisis stabilization unit, they can be held for up to 24 hours. They get them stabilized. It's basically a room with 12 easy chairs in it, and medicines, and they can hopefully get these people, if they're homeless, into maybe some type of housing and programs and things like that. But what's really kind of unique about these crisis stabilization units, and what's good for the regular citizens, is I've got calls from people that a family member they just can't control a family member, or a family member's on drugs, or they're having an episode. What do they do with them? And if you take somebody like that to an emergency room, they don't always have the expertise to handle, people with those issues at that time. So these crisis stabilization units are in the community, and it's okay for people to bring in maybe a loved one or family member to the unit to hopefully get them stabilized and maybe back on their meds. And like I said, they can keep them for up to 24 hours. And if they need additional, or to stay in a behavioral health bed, more of a hospital type situation, they can evaluate that and do that. But there's a lot of families just at a loss as, well, what do I do with, if I got somebody in the family, it's just having some real strong mental health issues. So these are, we open those up. Let's see, with the tribe public safety, let's see, we got, with the help of many of you in this call and the leadership from the tribal government, for the first time in San Diego County history, this sexually violent predator was going to be placed in Palma Valley. And we got a lot of people calling from Palma Valley, a lot of people from Valley Center. And this guy was denied. He was a sexual predator. He was, I think 2 or 3 times he got, caught with children, and he was just a bad person. And he didn't come to North County. He's in San Diego County, but he's not in North County. So this was a kind of a great effort by us there. Coming to also to North County is a new park, a regional park that we're kind of excited about. It's along the 76 corridor. It's a North County regional park. It's by Bonsall, and Bonsall, it's going to be one of the areas where the San Luis Rey golf course used to be. It's along the San Luis Rey River. It's going to have a bike trail between 2 parks, one by the Montserrat Mobile Home Park, the other one by the Bonsall Elementary School. Be a path or a trail between the 2 parks, and technically connecting to the bike path in Oceanside. So basically, you could ride your bicycle all the way from Oceanside to the 15. So go from the beach to wineries, I guess, on your bicycle. So that's very exciting. We are coming forward. I need to hurry up. I see my staff getting anxious. On the parks, as you know, Valley Center Parks, the Valley Center Parks Board, they filed an application for the county to take over the Parks District. And we got $3.4 million in place to rehabilitate the parks in Valley Center, to bring them up to code, do some of the landscaping and things like that. The pool at Adams Park is going to be rehabilitated. The board took action recently also to acquire 76 acres in the Hellhole Canyon Preserve area. I'm not sure if this is completely done with the parks, if the county has completely taken it over, but we've committed to put, $3.5 million towards rehabilitation of the parks. Then we can potentially look at Star Valley Park and see if that's viable. But what we want to do first is get the parks up to the code and more of a usable condition. Roads, we hear about roads and more roads, especially through the revites that we've done in Valley Center. Valley Center Road, starting at the grade north of Escondido, all the way to Coal Grade Road, is going to be resurfaced starting in the summer of this year. Coal Grade Road is currently under construction with the undergrounding of utility lines, which I'm sure most of you are frustrated with the backup of traffic, but hopefully that's going to be completed this summer. It's SDG&E putting these utility lines underground. This is part of the larger project requested by the community planning group. And it's going to commence with, after the undergrounding of the wires and things like that, then the resurfacing of Valley Center Road. A couple of great things my staff was able to do. I don't know if you remember on the 76 on your way eastbound out to Paula, there used to be those just really crummy houses that, had like numbers on them, like C6, C3. There were these buildings that were just dilapidated and boarded up, and they were there for many, many years. Well, we finally got code enforcement out there and got those houses torn down. They were just an eyesore in that windy part of the 76 east of the 15 before you get to Paula. And Ben Mills a Valley Center resident. I went out there and he took care of that and got that done. So we're going to have, and anytime you have any questions about anything, feel free to contact my office. We're going to try to get to as many of your questions here tonight. I know Miles is going to be going over the survey. We had a lot of people fill out surveys, and Miles, I'm going to let you go into that, and then we'll get to questions.
Thank you, Supervisor. Let me share my screen again. Thank you for doing that. 1 second. Jump back into the PowerPoint here, and thank you to everybody who filled out the survey. I know it took a little, a few minutes here to fill this out, so let me jump back into the survey here real quick and get in, and then we'll answer your questions. So here's kind of the interesting part of this survey. We ask, okay, rank your top issues in Valley Center, and as you can see, kind of all across the board, which I think shows it's a great community. There's some, things. So development, traffic, kind of leading the way, public safety there as well. I just wanted to show you guys that, just to kind of see, oh, hey, here's where my neighbors think are. Maybe here's what the topic isn't as big. And we're going to answer some of those and kind of address some of those issues here in a second. So traffic, let's talk about traffic. Clearly a strong issue, a major issue to many people in Valley Center. I know Supervisor Desmond mentioned some of that, but I wanted to jump to Ben Mills, who also deals with land use and and these type of issues. Ben, do you mind unmuting yourself and then just kind of answering some of the things with traffic? I know Supervisor Desmond talked about undergrounding the telephone poles as well.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. I'm Ben Mills. I'm with Supervisor Desmond's office, and I'm his land use advisor. Traffic is obviously a big concern in Valley Center. Myself, I live in Valley Center, so I also deal with it from time to time. As the supervisor mentioned, we are going to be resurfacing Valley Center Road. We understand that was a big issue for a lot of community members, so we're happy to get that done. And as the supervisor mentioned, that's going to start the summer of this year. In addition, Coal Grade Road, after the undergrounding with SDG&E, which is going to take about a year, Coal Grade Road itself is going to be improved. That's going to be resurfaced. There's going to be turn pockets installed. And then there's also going to be a DG pathway and bicycle lanes along that roadway as well. So hopefully that'll help out some of that congestion issue. We're also working on a traffic signal at Ridge Ranch Road and Valley Center Road. We heard from multiple members of the community. Basically, as I'm sure all of you are familiar, going up that grade, going 60 miles per hour, sometimes there can be accidents at that intersection. So we have the money for design and environmental review on that traffic light. And then hopefully by next year, we'll get the money to actually construct that light. We're also working on a couple more traffic signals with development going on in Valley Center. As I'm sure all of you are aware, you've got the Park Circle project, which is in the heart of the South Village, 700 homes going in there. They're required to install a few traffic lights or traffic intersection controls along Valley Center roadway. That's dependent upon how long they take to develop out the project. Once they develop out a specific amount of homes, those traffic signals will start getting installed along the way there. We've also heard that there's issues with speeding or in some cases, cars bypassing other cars along double yellow lines. For specific issues like that, feel free to contact me and we can get our CHP. We team up with them to enforce these roadways. So if there's specific segments of roads, please let me know and we can look into that and help out.
And
so, Miles?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Ben, I want to jump to here. Here's one other question. Can you, senior center is what I wanted to bring up, not as much with you, Ben, or if you want to answer this. I know some folks answered this question and said, hey, okay, I want a senior center. I agree. I strongly agree. I'm curious if one of those people that's on here can maybe write in the chat as to what kind of senior services you would like. Do you want a senior center? What would you like to see in Valley Center? I think that'll happen. I know we're running a little bit behind here, so we'll just, if we could kind of put that in the chat room and go. And I want to get your questions, but here's kind of what we like to end with the survey. Overall, it's overwhelmingly people are excited about the future of Valley Center. It's a wonderful community. Ben tells us all about it and knows it firsthand as well. And so we're really grateful to see that. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and we'll jump back into the questions, kind of the reason we're here. So I appreciate it. Supervisor Desmond, you ready to answer some questions? Ready to go? I want to start
Yeah.
here. Okay, I wanted to start here, and let me tell everyone here. So there's two ways we can do questions on here. I know some of you guys wrote them in prior to it. Also, if you go down to the reactions button in the bottom, you can hit that and raise your hand. I'm able to see it, so you virtually raise your hand, and we'll call upon you. Any question you've got will come to you. Try and keep it concise so we can get through as many questions as possible, but just virtually raise your hand. Or if you want to put it in the chat, I know I've seen a lot of chat going on there. So if you got a quick question you want to be asked, or even a long question, just throw it in that chat and we can try and get to it as well. Supervisor Desmond, one of the first ones, and I know you addressed it a little here, one of the questions that was written in by someone in Valley Center was about the schools. Please reopen our schools. I want to get my kids back in schools. Can we do something about it? What's your answer?
Well, like I said earlier, that the schools, unfortunately, they have their own not unfortunately, but they have their own governing body. And so they, have their own rules in the county. We can't really force a school to be open or not. I have been advocating for schools to be open. Also, I've been advocating to hopefully get our teachers, teachers vaccinated. Teachers and law enforcement to get the vaccinations. And I think once we get the teachers vaccinated, then there might be a little bit better chance, for schools to reopen. I know my daughter's been, like I said, she's a teacher in Valley Center, and she's been doing it all virtually. And, it's kind of tough for working parents to accommodate her having their kids home all day. And school it's not from 8 to 3 anymore. It's only a couple hours of the day right now. So, I wish I could have better insight on that, but I think the more people we get vaccinated, the quicker we get out of this virus, and then hopefully the sooner we can get our kids back in school. I think it's been detrimental that the kids that they have been able to, but we've got to control the spread of the virus as well. All right, what else? You're muted.
Thank you, Jim. Sorry. If you can raise your hand virtually, we'll get to your question here, or if you can kind of signal me down, even if you're unable to do it virtually, let me know. I see some people writing in about the senior center, Supervisor Desmond, and I know there's some talk. Some people said we need a senior center out here. We want somewhere for activities. We want somewhere to take them. Is that on your purview? Where are you on that?
Myself?
Yeah. Would you like to see seniors come to?
This is something we could push for. I mean, this is the time and opportunity for people to. I see some nodding heads. I don't know. We can't really resolve it tonight, but what type of services and things like that we'd be interested to see. I know we have a Revite, a group also that perhaps with Shayna. Raise your hand, Shayna. Wave your hand. Okay. Shayna, who does our Revites, that potentially could be a subject for a Revite and a committee on a Revite to, I'm trying to get your input. The idea of a senior center in my head may not be the same as what, Valley Center wants. And so we'd like to have maybe through a Revite group or something like that, their committee to come up with, okay, here's what we'd like to see. Here's the priorities we like. Here's a couple locations we'd like to see it in. And then I can maybe help push or advocate for that and get what you want. And so this is a new idea. I haven't really thought about it that much, but if it's something that the citizens of Valley Center want, we'll help push for it.
Fantastic. And this is your opportunity. I know we did one last week in Carlsbad, and we had some shy people. I know Valley Center is not shy. I know the folks out there aren't shy. So raise your hand. This is the opportunity. Ask the question. And this, like Supervisor Desmond was saying, this is the time to, hey, this would be great out here. Hey, we don't love this. Please let us know. This is it.
Hey, Miles.
Yeah.
Miles, I see a question there about school districts reopening.
Yeah.
San Francisco City just sued their school district to reopen. Is there anything available to us there?
Well, San Francisco is a long way from Valley Center. That's up to the citizens group, I guess, if they want to sue their school district, but that's not really, I don't know if that's money well spent or not. It depends on how bad you want them to open up. It's primarily the governor who's holding up the schools right now, but I know some schools, I don't know, does anybody know, are some schools open for in-person learning right now in Valley Center, or are they all distant? No? Miles, you got them all muted.
Well, I know. They're supposed to give me kind of a yes or no. I do have this question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I do have this question that was written in. A couple people, in fact, said there's a lack of law enforcement present. They'd like to see some more officers. I know Ben maybe mentioned that or anything. Is there something that could be coming, Ben or Supervisor Desmond?
Well, like I said, this is the first time we kind of hear. Well, I mean, there's always need for more law enforcement, and that's for sure. One thing that we do have potentially coming that I talked with Rincon, the tribe at Rincon is there. This isn't law enforcement so much, but the potential that they might start their own ambulance service, which would potentially allow more ambulance service, in the valley, in and around Rincon, and that might be a win-win-win for the tribe, for the county, and for Valley Center for potentially quicker calls for ambulance service in Valley Center. But as far as the sheriff's station or substation, I could look into that to see what the response. I mean, basically, it comes down to response times, and if people are getting caught to the calls and things like that. That's something we could look into and potentially, if it's traffic issues or if it's vandalism issues or things like that. We need to hear about them, and that way, and then potentially we can beef up those opportunities as necessary.
Got a familiar face raising their hand right now. David Ross wants to ask you a question, Supervisor Desmond. So I see you're on there, David. If you don't mind, unmute yourself and ask away. Let me see here.
Can't believe David Ross is shy.
I know of anybody. There he is.
Can you hear me?
There he is.
Yeah, I was going to say that Rincon already did open their ambulance service, or else they're waiting for final approval from the Cal Fire District.
Well, we're working with them to potentially have them off the reservation, and we did just do a contract with Mercy Ambulance Service. There's a 5-year contract, but now with Rincon coming into the game, so you're right. They have started their own, but now it's we're going to be working through with them to see how far out into the community they're going to reach, and vice versa, mutual aid type agreements, and so that's what we're in. It's just starting to percolate, and like I said, we've already got this one contract in place with Mercy, and now this new entity with Rincon potentially coming into off the tribal lands, and that's in the works right now. But I can't. It's something, like I said, hopefully we'll get quicker response times in Valley Center with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything in chat at all for questions?
We've got Jim raising his hand here. Jim Nelson, I believe. Jim, do you mind unmuting yourself and ask away?
Thank you, Supervisor Desmond, for coming to Valley Center. My question is since the Valley Center Fire Department lost their bond to make it larger, and the county is more prevalent, what can we expect as far as service from the county on fire? Because our fire department here in Valley Center is very good. However, because of the pay, the men come and go very, very quickly. So consequently, we really need some absolute back covering by the county to make this a first-class fire department.
Well, there's and we'd be happy to help, but one of the things is you're your own separate fire district, which has its advantages, and you get local control. But then if you get your people and your residents aren't willing to pay for that, that's kind of the issue you're in. And so we got Cal Fire, who they fight the big wildfires and things like that. And we can help, somewhat with the fire, with helping them potentially, get equipment with my neighborhood reinvestment dollars and things like that. But there's going to come a point where and they've actually, with even on the shoestring of a, income or revenue, they've been doing a great job and providing great service, and response times have been very good. But it's going to be up to the community whether you want to keep your own fire department or not, or have the county come in. It's like, we can't, it's your turf and it's not the county's turf.
Well, just to be clear, close to 60 or maybe a little bit over 60, David would know for sure, Ross voted for that increase to make it a livable wage for the fire department. I don't know if you know that the firemen here make as little as $12 an hour. And the firemen we're talking about. And consequently, service suffers because of that, because their only reach of new people is to get to the next job. And I don't blame them. You know, how can you raise a family on $12 an hour? So I love the fire department, and they're great at what they're doing. But I think you as a supervisor, you're going to have to look at this area up here, because we have a lot of those wildfires and the winds. I mean, we've had our power shut off 3 or 4 times here in the last month or so. So.
Yeah, well, Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, or even Thomas, CAL FIRE, you take care of the wildfires, whereas Valley Center is more the paramedics and then the structure fires. Is that right?
Supervisor, so that is true in the Valley Center area. I mean, we have 40 stations around the county, so most of our stations, it's all risk, all hazard. We're running all types of calls. That is the same case with our Valley Center, our CAL FIRE Valley Center Fire Station, but it would only be if we were requested by Valley Center Fire Protection District. So the Valley Center Fire Protection District in Valley Center covers all the medical aids, traffic accidents, anything like that. And then any kind of wildland incident is going to be CAL FIRE's responsibility in Valley Center, and really throughout the county and the state responsibility area.
And Jim, I'm not trying to tap dance around your question here, but the county did just take over Parks District in Valley Center. And that was at the request of the Park District. I don't want to be a predator and come in and start taking over Valley Center Fire, or or being the predator, I guess, or coming in and trying to take it over. I think Chief Napier's doing a good job, and the response times and everything else is right up to speed. I'm so unfortunate of the pay, and primarily, I know you're pointing a finger at me, but the Valley Center folks won't vote them a raise. And you got to get to that 67%, and in order to do that, and unfortunately, that hasn't happened. So everybody unfortunately has their turf, and Valley Center Fire District has theirs, and like I said, they're doing a great job with what they have. But we have to. And I'm not going to come in and take over the fire district either. I'm not going to do that unless the fire district asks the county to do that, much like the parks did. The parks, you couldn't pass a parks bond either. And so we came in and we're putting $3.5 million in to get your parks up to county standards right now. But so it's a delicate dance right at this point to ask us to come in and help out while you're still got your anonymity as a fire district. So it's a touchy subject. I can tell you that, and hopefully the people of Valley Center someday see the value of that, or I'm sure they do. They see it, but it's going to cost money to enhance it.
In no way do I want you to think that I don't like our fire department and what they're doing. They're working really hard. I'm just hoping that you can work with them, throw them some resources, help them out as much as you possibly can. I guess that's the bottom line of what I was trying to get across.
Okay, and we have been doing that, and I think in our NRP dollars, our neighborhood reinvestment, I got Candace on here somewhere. Candace, I know we bought some equipment and paid for some equipment and things like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but we've helped out with the resources, what we can without.
Yeah, Supervisor Desmond, this is Candace here. And I apologize for not having my screen on. I have my daughter in the background. She's trying to practice her gymnastic skills, and it's just, you don't want to see that. But yes, last year we did grant, I don't recall the exact amount, maybe 30,000 or so, or more. It possibly was more for some of the fire equipment for Valley Center Fire to prevent cancer and hazardous gases and things like that when they go and fight the fire. So I know that we did, grant them some of our neighborhood reinvestment grant funds, and we'll absolutely continue to support them as much as we can in the future.
Yeah, so we're able to help out with some of the peripheral equipment and things like that, but salaries is another pot of money that comes from the district. So,
Supervisor Desmond, we got a couple questions, and
Sure.
I'm kind of curious to do like a little poll here while we've got it. Mail theft. We've seen a lot. I've seen that. We got some question. Who here, and just we can see some faces, some we can't. Who here has had, if you raise your hand, has had their mail stolen, tampered with, whatever? Okay, so we've got some hands on there. Supervisor, what can be done?
Well, I'm assuming they're reporting to the sheriffs. Is that right? It's been reported each time to the sheriff's department. And is it, I guess, daytime? Are people just driving by, or what's the, we could definitely make the sheriffs more aware, tell them that, we're hearing from people in Valley Center that the mail theft is on the rise, and we're hearing about it, and hopefully they can, do something, or maybe get somebody on that. But is it coming from houses or from mailboxes on the road? Is there anything prevalent or anything?
I think Levon, do you have a follow up to this? Because I see you raise your hand. I have a feeling. Yeah, here you can go.
I did. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I had a call from my office is next to the Lilac Market, and I had a call from a lady down in Paula at the end of Lilac Road that said that she had some of my mail on the ground over by her house, and I have no idea when it was taken or whatnot of those details, but I do know that it was found way far away.
Yeah, bummer. Well, is it? I don't know. Do you have vagrants? Do you have homeless more, or it's just teenage kids?
I don't have any idea.
No
I
idea.
wish I knew.
Lisa, I see Lisa's got her hand raised. Similar issue, if you don't mind unmuting.
Yes, from what I understand, some of the mail theft occurs immediately after the mail is delivered. It's not just USPS, it's UPS and FedEx. Many people complain that their packages are stolen. And they also complain that they do try to report it to the sheriff, and the sheriff tells them that it's a federal issue and they need to tell the post office. So neighbors and such encourage the people to make sure the post office knows of the mail theft. And since the mail people are so overwhelmed with work, they can't really go out and have somebody track their mail trucks to make sure the mail isn't stolen or watch out for mail theft. But it occurs often, at least once a day. And some places get broken into, even though they have locked boxes, and some of them more than once. So it's quite a large concern here in Valley Center.
Well, let's try to get the issue between the feds and UPS and sheriffs. I mean, saying it's your problem, not my problem. We'll try to get onto that, and then figure out who can really help and who can't, and we'll see what we'll raise the issue and say, hey, we need some more enforcement, or whoever it is.
Thank you.
I see Deborah has her hand raised. I'm not sure if it's a similar mail issue or if your answer's or your question. Yeah.
No, hi, it's Eric Jockinson, actually. We just happen to be here together. It was her computer in the house, so we're on hers tonight. But in regards to Parks and Rec, and Jim's absolutely right. The Parks and Rec district actually asked the county to come in and absorb our park district into the county district, mainly because we just cannot keep up with the maintenance dollars, the level of services that our residents really do need. I've been with the Parks and Rec for over 30 years. A lot of the time on the board, running the board, president of the board, volunteer behind the scenes, which I'm still doing that today. But Jim's absolutely right, and his staff has been fantastic. The Parks and Rec people have been great to work with, but we just cannot keep up with the amount of maintenance dollars. I've run 2 campaigns to ask the Valley Center voters for additional tax dollars. I know everybody hates the word tax. Don't nod your heads. We all know that out here in rural conservative Valley Center. But Jim and his staff have been doing a great job with the Parks and Rec folks. We needed the county's help to provide the kind of services Valley Center really does deserve. And we've got a huge amount of people coming into town. We're building a new business district. Everything that we've got going on right now is a positive. So, you know, I think Jim and his crew is doing a great job. So thank you to all of them. And I don't usually pop out of my rabbit hole very much. I'm kind of better behind the scenes, I think, than I am in front of the camera anymore. But I just like to say thank you to Jim and your staff, buddy. You guys are doing a great job.
Well, thanks a lot. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to keep the current board, your Parks District board, on as an advisory board. I mean, you guys know better than we do, or than I do, of what the needs are. And I know there's been questions about Star Valley Park. One of our first things we're going to try to do is get your current parks up to county standards. That's the first thing, and then we'll look into and then maybe work on expanding. And potentially, you know, Star Valley Park's going to be about a 5 million or more park. So we're going to get this thing. It's going to take a while, maybe in phases or something like that. We'll try to get it designed with, you know, community input, and then the construction. But the first effort is going to be dollars spent on I think it was a pool and which is going to be very expensive, and other amenities. And I know there's erosion issues and things like that in the parks that need addressing, and that's where the first emphasis is going to be, and then we can look at further expansions of it.
Jim, if my memory serves me right, I think it's $4 million. Ben, can you nod your head and confirm that we're going to be pumping into, and you fought for and got those dollars, pumping into the parks immediately to bring them into standards? Is it 5 parks, I want to say, that exist? And it's going to be about 4 million. I want to say that the county's going to be pumping in there.
Eric would know. How many parks?
Yeah, we've actually got 6 facilities right now. Initially, it was a $4 million number we were running around with the parks. I noticed it dropped to 3.4. I'm not sure where the extra 6 was. You'd have to tell me that one, Jim, because
I don't know either. I saw that 3.4.
That seems like a lot of money to go into paperwork. But yeah, we've got 6 facilities right now that are actually up and running. And this is unique for the county. For those of you who don't know, I don't think they've ever absorbed an actual running park district. And we are in Valley Center what we call a pay-to-play district. If you want to rent a field, you rent the field and we make money. If you want to rent the community hall, if you want to do a Little League games, girls softball, soccer, whatever it may be, our facilities were all, since we were established in 1966, we were a pay-to-play district. That's the only way we could survive to even keep the wells working and the fields looking good and all the stuff we do out here. So, you know, we're kind of unique for the county, and I think they're still kind of scratching their head. And we've got a great guy. Jake Enriquez is wonderful. Jim, keep him around. He's a great guy. You know, he's trying to figure out how in the heck to make this thing work, because we're still under the mentality of pay to play. But the county, because a lot of those dollars and cents for their park district comes out of the tax equation, I think we're all still kind of in a learning curve here, you know. So yeah, we've got 6 facilities that are really nice, and especially now because, you know, so much free water. You know, most of us, all of our cities are in well. So you know, during the summertime they're a little browner, but right now they're looking really good. You guys got to come out and check it out, man. It's Valley Center is a great place to be. I'm just telling you.
Well, we're going to count on you to tell us where all the sprinkler heads are.
Great.
You know, that and the wells and the valves and all that. That I know. So,
yeah. Well, we're going to, and I think that I think it was up to $4 million. Maybe they've done some pencil sharpening and found out it didn't cost quite that much. But we just kind of set aside $4 million just to make sure we had enough to get it I'm not sure how it got to 3.4. That was the first time I saw that number too, but maybe that's just where they landed with, getting estimates or things like that to get it done. But we'll get them up to county code. I mean, for sure. I mean, that's going to be the effort.
Supervisor, you have
yeah.
one more question here. Christina's got her hand raised, and I think we should go to her. Christina, if you can unmute and ask away.
Hi. Yes, thank you, Jim, for all the communication, the emails through this whole pandemic, and hosting this. I've been able to get information, and I forward it to my parents who are in Oceanside, and they're not on your email list. So we're trying to spread the information, and I appreciate it. My question is partially for the gentleman who's talking about the local parks. I have 2 young children, and I'd love to know, where are these parks and what types of facilities they have? How do I get that info? Is it posted somewhere? And then for the county, for Mr. Desmond, my question is, now that the parks are taken over or being funded at more the county level, will they then become official county parks that will either collect parking fees or other funds? So like, say, if, like, I know like Guajome Park is a regional park, or there's a park in Fallbrook called a regional county park, and you pay to park and those funds help care for the parks. How does that work? And is that still in your hands, or is that is it more just like open land that we consider a park?
Those are lots of questions I don't know the answers to. So what we're going to do is make sure we're going to work with your current board as an advisory board and kind of work through those issues. I wish I could answer all those, but I don't have the brain power right now to do.
Hey, Jim, would you like me to jump in on that one? You can go to vcparks.com, and that will give you all of our online things that we have going right now, of course. It tells you where our 6 facilities are in the Valley Center area. Now, are you Hidden Meadows or are you Valley Center? The woman asking the question.
I am right in Valley Center. I live above Park Circle Development.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Because the county is going to be taking that one on too. That'll be actually absorbed into the CSA 138, which is going to be the Valley Center Parks District. I mean, you can call it whatever you like, but that's going to be absorbed into the district. I ask if you're in Hidden Meadows because the southeastern portion of Hidden Meadows is actually part of the Valley Center district as well. So if you're in that area.
Eric, hang on. For a guy that doesn't want to jump out, you're jumping out a lot, which is fine. Why don't you get this offline with her and get her I mean, it's great. I just don't want to hold everybody else up. So, and if we could get, if it's okay, who's the lady that was talking? Christina, is it okay if we give your information to Eric or vice versa?
Sure. Yeah, thank you. You answered my question. Thank you.
We'll try to get to that so we don't. I just want to make sure we get more general questions, and we'll do that as well. I see we got Jeff on. We got one more question out of Jeff here. What do you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to actually make a comment. Thank you for this opportunity. And just regarding the fire department, I'm Jeff Chumley, a division chief with the Valley Center Fire Protection District. And just wanted to say on behalf of Chief Napier, thank you for the comments from our residents and the support that we feel. Unfortunately, with Measure AA not passing, obviously we all know the challenges that come as a result of that. Our firefighters are working hard, and on behalf of our great chief, he's very fiscally responsible, and we have a strategic plan, and he's really sticking to that plan. We have hopes with the homes that are being built up here to be able to generate some of the revenue to help us with the station. And I know there was a question regarding Fire Station 3. That's moving along the property. We should be able to acquire the property very soon. It's just dealing with plot line adjustments and some, final technicalities with the purchase of that. But, I think it's just important for the people to know how our chief is so grateful for this community. He's working very hard for the fire services. We're grateful for CAL FIRE. We're grateful for the services that they provide us, and the, with the wildland and that our paramedics are working very hard to provide the advanced life support services. And thank you, Supervisor Desmond for the comment with regards to the ambulance that's coming. We'll see what happens with that. And, you know, Mercy's doing a great job as well. And as you know, we have a very large district, and, you know, our call volume is certainly going to continue to increase. So thank you to the public for the support, and we're going to continue to do our best with what we have. And we, you know, are grateful for you also for the support from the county. So.
No, you're well. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. And you guys, yeah, Chief Napier is working miracles with the resources he has. So more power to him, and providing great service. So we appreciate that. And if we can help out, we will, where we can. Okay. I don't know. We don't want.
Can I put in a plug real quick? You mentioned it earlier, and one thing that I want to mention to everyone is the supervisor created these revitalization efforts, and Valley Center has their own revitalization. And these are twice yearly meeting that the supervisor hosts and runs, and he brings county resources and any other resources that the community could want and need to Valley Center, where we sit there and we work together. We create committees between the community and whether it's county resources, it could be fire. Clearly the post office needs a strong invite. And so the way I see a couple of these issues is it's a perfect thing to put on our revitalization effort. So the post office, and there's a lot of concern with need for expansion, and also the sheriff and anyone else, the post office that could touch the mail theft. Those sorts of things are perfect. Our next meeting, not everyone can attend, and we understand that. And that's partly why we do these coffees, but, or desserts, I guess we'll call it for this night meeting. March 11th, Crystal put it there in the comments. March 11th is our next revite in Valley Center. We have a matrix, and the work continues even when we're not meeting, and we plug away. And like the Valley Center Parks issue was on the revite matrix, and that's coming to a really positive, I think, way forward. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and we're taking the follow-up, and we will connect with everyone who we owe follow-up to from this. So that's it. Thanks, Jim.
Well, thanks. And anytime, you know, we'll wrap this up, but if you have questions on anything, anytime, my office will get back to you. We respond. We've got a goal of getting back and responding to people within 24 hours if we can. And even if we don't know the answer, at least we'll let you know we got it. And we're working. There's 18,000 people that work at the county, and we're going to find the one person that can maybe help you with what the needs are. You know, we'll work on, and if you have any other issues we didn't get to tonight, you know, email me or let me know. Be watching though your emails, because whoever's on here, we got your email address. We're gonna blast you when to start to get those appointments online for the vaccinations.
Can we squeeze in cannabis? Anita brought up the cannabis issue. Could we talk about that real quick? Do you want me to do it? You want to do it?
Real quick, sure.
Okay.
Where's Anita?
Anita just said, can we talk cannabis issue that our rural areas are facing?
Are you wondering what we just passed, or what's the unfortunately the Board of Supervisors voted in favor to allow marijuana or cannabis dispensaries, agriculture, and manufacturing in the unincorporated area. So I don't want a dispensary in my neighborhood, so I don't want to put one in yours, but maybe some other people have different opinion, but you can get it delivered right now if you want it. But and that's going to be coming down the pike here pretty soon. With the new Board of Supervisors, it was a 4-to-1 vote. I was the one that voted no, and you know, I understand medical needs for marijuana if somebody's in hospice or something like that wants it, but I don't want a dispensary in my neighborhood, and I'm not willing to put one in yours. So, but it's coming. So right now they're coming up with a plan. There's going to be potentially 1,000 feet from parks and schools and things like that. So what what was voted on was for the staff to come back, I think within 90 days, with a plan of where we can put marijuana dispensaries and or where they're allowed, and mostly it's going to be in commercial zones. I think manufacturing of marijuana in the industrial zones and an ag zone. So that's where it is right now. So just what you want. I don't know. Wait, from the responses we got in the survey, Valley Center did not want marijuana dispensaries, but they could be coming. And right now they're allowing that they can use it on site. So that's what. Welcome to the new world.
Well, but it's not done yet. So the staff is directed 4-1. Again, Jim was the one supervisor to argue against it, because this is a land use issue as much as it is, right? And to stick these in the unincorporated area, the pot shops in commercial areas, growing in ag areas, pot shops in commercial industrial. It's being crafted. There's going to be a check-in in 90 days. So in 3 months, in 180 days, the policy changes are due back. So keep working with your local planning group because they're supposed to have input. There's other provisions that are really, really concerning with this that the board approved that, again, Jim argued against. One is to give preference to certain people that have been arrested. This is just, it's greater opportunities for people that have been arrested or convicted of cannabis crimes to operate these facilities. It's unbelievable. And I hope the community does engage in this.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of other provisions that you need to be aware of. And so it's just, what are we doing here? But the board voted to move this forward with community input, and staff are crafting this at the board's direction.
So with that, thanks Valley Center. We'll do this again. And like I said, you don't have to wait until one of these things to contact us. Be watching your emails for when you can sign up for the vaccinations and for next Tuesday at the elementary school. I'm not sure what time. Normally they start around 9:30, but don't quote me on that. And one little trick that I've learned, and it probably won't work for Valley Center because you're only going to probably get a day or a day and a half notice for the appointments. That if you do your appointments around noontime for these other places, noontime is about the best time to get. That's when they release the appointments for a few days out. If you're checking at 9, 10, 11 o'clock, they're not out. If you check at 2, 3, 4 o'clock, they're gone. So the noontime is kind of the best time to set up your appointments. But as soon as you get it from the from us, that's going to be the point. The appointments will be turned on for Valley Center for Tuesday and Wednesday. So thanks a lot. Thanks everybody. Appreciate the input and the questions. Contact my office anytime. This was great. I appreciate it. Good night.